Hello again. I'm really happy to be on the stage in this beautiful afternoon. As Luis said, it's in Tallinn. It's a really amazing summer weather outside. I would say it's the Indian summer. And after this lunch break, it's really great to be speaking about the unicorn look and feel that we have been developing for the XRoad 7. I will be sharing some insights from creating this kind of look and feel, and give also some examples from the new style guide that we have been developing for brand consistency and modern attitude. So if you joined us in the morning, you might have heard my morning session where I gave overview about the service design and the user need discovery that we have been doing for the XRoad 7. So this presentation is more about the product design side of the XRoad design. I will be explaining that how we are working on the user experience in order to develop the XRoad user experience and improve it further. So first of all, briefly about the product design roadmap, where we are and what is coming next. To start with, we have launched the XRoad 7 brand last spring. This is probably already familiar to you. And this has kicked off the development of XRoad 7 UI style guide and the diagram toolkit that I will be introducing today. As well as during this process, we have defined the XRoad design principles that we are following throughout our design process. And on the other track, we have the XRoad Agile product design, how we are working to improve the user experience of our user interfaces, and what we are doing there for the XRoad 7. But to kick off this presentation, first of all, as you know, this is the XRoad 7 logo. From now on, all the XRoad versions will have their own branding. XRoad 7 is called Unicorn, and it's an evolution from the main logo. Although the logo represents the unicorn, you cannot see the character itself there. It's rather like invisible representation of the character, and there are like hints of color. We have brought in the soft pink color, and in some visuals you can see the unicorn hair or some other elements from the unicorn. But the overall approach is to keep it simple, to keep it clear, so that we wouldn't put additional mental burden on our users. And also, it's really awesome to tell you that the brand was developed by Martin Weismann from Design Studio 414. An Estonian agency, and Martin has been nominated as the Designer of the Year last week. So we are really happy with this collaboration with him and developing the overall XRoad 7 look and feel. The design principles. So during the process of creating the overall XRoad 7 look and feel, we have also defined the key principles that we follow while developing the XRoad style. This is due to the fact that we are collaborating with different design agencies, different vendors, and in order to keep consistency, it's important to us that we all are speaking the same language, understanding the same goals. So first principle for us is that less is more. We aim for simplicity and clarity. We try to remove the unnecessary mental burden from the users. We aim to be modest, but recognizable in small details. So the overall aim is that the user experience of XRoad is calm, but delightful. The second principle is focus on the users. As already with the service design part, we have defined that our aim is to understand what is their user needs, what are their challenges and pain points. So in everything we do, we aim to grow the user empathy and communicate in a human way. And the last one is that the repeat is on. So it aims for ongoing discovery and improvement in creating the delightful user experience. We aim for coherence as a way to build familiarity and trust, but we aim to repeat, we aim to grow and develop further as we learn more about the users, about their aspirations and the direction we are going to. Now, just to remind you what has been the evolution of XRoad user interfaces. So probably you remember the old UI. This is where we started from. Then we have introduced XRoad 624, which was a bigger UX improvement for the security server. And the next step in this journey is the XRoad 7 UI, where we aim for visual brand coherence, but keeping overall the same interaction patterns used already in 624. How we are doing this? So during the spring, we have been developing the distinctive XRoad look and feel style guide. The style guide, it's like a comprehensive overview of how to create the XRoad 7 user interface with all the main elements as of grid, colors, font, tables, forms, and everything explained quite in detail. It also includes the type pages, which showcase how to combine the different components together, how to create this XRoad look and feel. And just briefly, I go through some of the elements that are part of the style guide. So to start with the color palette, different shades of purple and soft gray have been introduced. Then we have the new typography, softer open sans font, but increased readability. We have a quite comprehensive button anatomy and button types and stages defined. We have a growing set of icons, and on this first row, the last icon on the left, it's a specific security server icon, which we have included in the icon set or kit. Then we also have the XRoad 7 navigation and distinctive security server header and central server header. And some more examples of tables, input forms, quite a lot of different elements and in the style guide. As well, we are introducing the type pages. The aim of the type pages is to showcase how to compile different components together, how to compile a UI user interface in a way that we would expect it to work. These are not the kind of the production-ready examples, but rather how to use the different components and how they should work together. The style guide itself has been published in Envision. Envision is a prototyping tool and a tool for design handoff for developers and collaboration. And it's a really great tool, so you can easily like copy any styles or even code snippets, code examples of different elements. So here, for example, you can see that there's a table link and what are the different styles for that concrete element. Also, for designers, we have sketch library components, and it allows drag and drop of different components we have available. So basically, for designers, it's very easy to compile XRoad 7 user interface layouts, prototype those, change different ready-made component titles or content, so it makes the prototyping much faster, as well as the overall look and feel consistent. So here you can see how I was very quickly compiling a modal form view, just copy-pasting, dragging, dropping those elements from the component library, changing the button titles, and ready you go. Then lastly, we also have been creating XRoad diagram toolkit. The toolkit is created in Draw.io, a free software, and it allows to create architecture diagrams. There are ready-made components and examples of how to use it. Our aim is that over time we renew all the XRoad diagrams for consistency and clarity. And this toolkit as well can be used by anyone. So when creating or writing XRoad architecture documentation, creating diagrams with this new toolkit helps to create clarity, as well as to have like the overall readability when you know the components. And here is an example of the old diagram and rather a new diagram and old diagram. So you can see that here we have this distinctive XRoad colors, as well as simplified layouts for the diagram for easier readability and visual improvements. And in the diagram, there is a quite detailed explanations of how to compile XRoad architecture diagram, what should it consist of, how to use the ready-made components. And at least we have been, Petteri Kivimägi has been using this diagram to create some of the new diagrams, and from his comments, it has been that the new diagram helps to more quickly and simply create the XRoad diagram. So really a good toolkit to be used. To summarize, our principles are less is more, focus on users, and repeating in building XRoad user experience. Why we are doing this? The target is in front of us. We want to gain Apple level of usability and desirability, making XRoad to market itself. That's it for now. Thank you for listening.
Very nice. Thank you, Geroli. It's a very nice presentation. And as you point out, we've already seen some examples of this already today from Petteri, the diagram with the it was with the e-delivery diagram.
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah,
that was the one. So is this stage? This is it as well, is it? This is examples of it?
Yeah, this is also one of the things that we have been doing is creating XRoad community-specific visuals and continuing to work with XRoad 7 look and feel.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and is this the font that you were talking about, the more open one?
No, this is actually the main XRoad logo font, the Rocco Ultra, and this is used for the main kind of visuals, but for the UIs, we rather use the new selected Open Sans font, which is like a UI or digital compliant.
Okay. Makes sense. So when you're starting to analyze and look, when you've got the old look and you're like, okay, we've got to do something about this, we've got to change this. And it seems to me there's two factors. One is, well, how does it look? How does an UI look? There's a button and all that. And then there's also the workflows, I guess the screens. So do you get a lot of control over the workflows and the screens as well? Because that's almost a development level thing.
Yeah. Well, yes, today I was more explaining the visual side of creating the XRoad 7 experience. In the roadmap, I briefly mentioned that actually we are also working with agile product design. And that is the part where we are analyzing the workflows, where we are understanding that how to really improve the interaction and the user experience on the interaction level.
How do you do that? How do you analyze the current workflows?
There are two ways. First of all is, of course, looking at the existing system by our UX designer. And the second part of it, as mentioned already, is including users. So focus on the users. And with this agile product design process that we are now implementing, we aim to ask feedback from users in each or every second sprint. So collaborating more with our users by understanding that actually where are the gaps, what can we do on the user interface level.
Okay, and that's all at a, how to say, when you're asking for that feedback from them, that's all at a user level, like, hey, they have to tell you, hey, this is what I think. It's not, do you have anything automated in the system right now to report back? Do you have any level of automated reporting?
Probably not on this level, but of course we have the overall feedback opportunities that everyone can share, but not yet automated solutions. But I would say that this is also an evolution. So we aim to keep on working to include the users and include them even more than we are already doing today. So this is just the beginning of a user-centered journey.
Okay, so we keep on going, because my next question was, okay, when the 7 beta comes out, whenever that might be, hopefully by the end of the year, you know, what do you do to keep refining that? And okay, you've kind of mentioned that. That's how you keep refining beta 7.
Yeah, definitely. There are two things. First of them is the service design we are doing in order to understand like the wider picture or the holistic view of what are the features which we should include in the XRoad 7. But on the second part of it is that understanding that how can we improve on UI level and maybe not only the UI level, it's also a lot about the processes, about the onboarding, about making the communication clearer, introducing the benefits of XRoad in a human-centered way. So there's a lot of work to do, and in some way we are just in the beginning.
Yeah, so does that, when you analyze that workflow and you sort of, because it is a little bit of a two-way street, because is there some example of, or have you seen, or you think that, like you could see something and go like, this isn't working, the way they click and the screens, and the solution could just be at a UI level. It could be that the functionality's there. Is there something in the process about saying, gee, we need the screens to go this way, and the API or the software doesn't support that, and that has to go all the way back to development? Does that happen in your process?
Well, basically, yes. On a high level, yes. But definitely, yes, our product design is part of the development process. There's like an ongoing discussion with the developers that what is supported from the backend side. So we are not designing in a vacuum, just creating beautiful pictures which cannot be later implemented. So our process is rather like on usability, understanding the real flows and creating the design based on that one.
Okay, understand. We had a question here. We'll throw it out there just in case there is something there. Any plans, any thoughts of voice interactions or audible interactions, or maybe not voice commands, but is even like bings and bongs and things, is that something you think about as well?
Currently, this hasn't been in the plans yet, but it's a good idea that at least, although we aim to keep the UI like simple and clear, maybe there could be some notifications which are more important than others, and then some voice interactions could be or voice or sound elements could be included. That's a good idea.
It was an interesting idea. I wonder, where are these back-end server techies who want to talk? Usually they want to sit in the back room and not talk to anybody. So I thought silence would be golden possibly for these users, but nevertheless.
Yeah, when we were creating this XRoad 7 user interface style guide, actually one of the things that was on the table and still will be is actually creating the dark mode.
Okay, yep.
So that is something that probably developers and administrators could be more interested in, is having the dark mode, so you can be in a dark room with your dark UI.
I always have dark mode.
Yeah. So actually, it's one of the things that we are currently thinking about.
Interesting. Okay, looking down here for our questions on our app. Someone was asking, they're wondering at all, is it possible, just as XRoad is open source software and people can contribute, is there any way to open source contribute to the designs or that process?
Currently, not yet. But definitely in the future, this is something to consider. Currently, the way the users or the developers can be involved is on the feedback level. But working further and sharing the UI library is definitely something which we will be doing.
Okay, it's coming there.
Yeah, it's coming on one day.
It's coming,
sooner or later.
Okay, like Christmas, it's coming soon. Don't worry about it. Like Rail Baltica, it's coming any day now. Don't worry about it.
Eventually, yes.
Sorry, Andy. Here was a good one. There was a good question here. Wait. During your research and your feedback process, have you noticed any major differences via country and culture of user interfaces or what people enjoy or anything like that?
Not on UI level, I must say. As with the UI level research, we are still quite in the beginning. But for the XRoad 7, the service design research, there we definitely notice the differences. But it's currently not on the cultural level, but rather on the experience level, as the Estonians have been using XRoad for such a long time. For them, it's like a more familiar system than, for example, in Finland, where it's still in implementation and it's not so common yet.
Are you saying Finnish people are slow? Because I didn't say that. Did you say that?
No, I didn't say that.
We're joking. Just jokes. Okay, so on that side, all good. All right, we're going to leave it there. Thank you very much for
Thank
the
you.
call.
Thank you.
Geroli. All right.